So let's get back into this.
We're back in with Divorce Diaries show. We're
Yes.
parenting, we're dating, we're loving it. Zoom links. Okay. Thank you, Stone
So
and Stone. Todd and Adam. Okay, this is great. Okay, so we're going back to the fact that it was the first time we were hanging out since I met him at my show.
yes,
And I was gonna say no, don't. My gut was like, tell this guy not to.
of course. I would have agreed with you on that. You mean after the long nervous
Well,
message?
and the phone call. Then I talked to him on the phone. I was like,
And he was nervous too. Yeah, that I would have, as dating coach, I would have said, yeah,
Yeah,
just
that's not a good sign.
That's not
Yeah.
good. Keep going.
well, I got off the phone and I cried to my manager on the phone and I screamed.
Okay.
And then I was like, I really was looking forward to this. This sucks.
Yeah.
So then he was like, he drove an hour and a half to see me. I said, because he's like, here's the idea. He wanted, this is two options: to go for a drink or go to Gotham Comedy Club to see a comedy show. I was like, if I'm going to go to the comedy club, it's to work, not with you.
Of course. Not,
Yeah,
of course.
exactly.
Especially
No,
not after how you just made me feel.
Of course.
So
Yeah.
my cousin's condo in Hoboken is right on the corner next to a funky little lounge and bar. I was like, we can get a drink there. That's it.
Yeah.
So we did, and we had a really nice time.
Really?
And it was like he talked to me about a little bit about religion, and we just talked and listened. We hugged goodnight, and I was expecting him to kiss me, and he just like kissed me on the lips, and it was like cute and sweet, and I was like, I'm used to guys like.
Well, because he clearly
Well, the
has
thing is that he has
inner
a lot
issues
of anxiety about
that.
this.
Yeah, that
I
because
mean, I think that this has been instilled in him from an early age, perhaps, or who knows what. But I think that this is foreign to him, or at least for better or worse, he's so uncomfortable about it. I don't think you need to wait around till he gets.
Oh well, there's more.
it keeps going.
Oh yes.
Oh,
So
oh my God.
this is dirt. This is juicy. So then after that, he follows the podcast, and he's like, I was like, hey, do you mind if I talk about kind of what happened? He's like, yeah, that's fine. Thank you for asking me. I would never want you to shift who you are. I was like, oh,
Oh.
wait, give it 2 weeks.
Oh,
Because then this shit came out about my comedy too, how he lives a private life, and how he doesn't want people knowing who he is. Well, bitch, you crossed the wrong lady. No, I'm kidding.
wait. What do you mean? He has like 2 lives?
He's-
What? Tell me.
I don't
I bet
know.
he's
He
not even.
might.
Oh,
No,
you don't know.
So like when after that time afterwards, I
He's
recorded
not
the
even Jewish. And, like,
no, he's definitely Jewish. I've been to his house.
Oh, wow.
I slept over his house, but there was no.
Oh.
But I saw like he's in an Orthodox community where there's people walking around Friday night, and I was like, oh, this is so cool. Like, what if I was like, I'm Catholic and I'm going to bed with you? I'm just kidding. I'm just
Yeah, I just think he might have told you he's conservadox, but I bet he's really orthodox.
Well,
Yeah.
He's told me his rabbi wouldn't let me into the temple.
That's crazy. See, okay, let me just interrupt. Unless you have so much more to say, I just want to say, basically, like an Orthodox Jewish person or Amish person or whatever it is, like someone who's extremely religious. They're trained to just kind of be within their own group, and if they go out of it, they either have to completely get out of it, and it's like no, it's not part of their life, or otherwise it's going to be very difficult. Or I think if you were to convert or something, it could work. But other than that, it's just not going to work because he's going to constantly be in this like porn position, and that's not good for anyone.
Right. So that's what he was saying. So So after that time that we met, there's rationality to it, which I understood, but the way it kept coming up, and I also thought it was weird because then he told me that how his father's side is all interfaith, and then
that doesn't make sense. I don't even believe that.
And then his ex-wife is who they were practicing the same way is also now not seeing a Jewish man.
Okay.
And he's 47. He's 47. His kids are grown.
Oh, he has kids.
He has 2 kids that are grown, and that like. So here's the thing: it's like he said, he goes, it doesn't matter anyone else around me. He's like, it's me and what I'm fixating on. And he said throughout this time was that like, so after the first time, I wasn't going to bring it up again until we kept once we started dating, because then I figured like we'll really get into it. But my birthday was right around the corner. He's like, I got you a gift. And I also
That's
want
that's
to,
kind yeah.
I
That's
wanted,
leading you on.
he got me a
Yeah.
gift. He got me Uggs. Wait, hold on. I have them right here on my other side. He got me a gift and he wanted to see me for my birthday. So I was so excited. Again, I was like, wow. Then, right 2 days before my birthday, he messages me. My head is spiraling with thoughts, and I thought he meant like where to take me. No, he's like, no, I want to address the pink elephant in the room. And he called me and did the whole conversation again about the religion, like even
Yeah.
further.
Yeah.
And I felt so like shitty inside. And I was like,
Why would it? No, it has nothing to do with
It has
you.
nothing to do with you. It's all about
Zero.
his issues.
he said, so he starts talking about the religion. And I said, well, because he was saying there's going to be issues with eating with the Friday and the Saturday. And I said, wait, I'm so sorry. That's so weird. It's so interesting that I was excited, to be very honest. I was excited to learn his practices. It was almost exciting to me that he was so in his faith. I was like turned on by it, and it seemed like he was so into me. So I was so excited. And then when he shared this, my entire body felt like it dropped 3 levels, and I felt, and then he's
Again.
like,
That
again.
happened. That already had happened before. Yes. Again. Yes.
Again. And then when he said to me, I said, he's like, that's great that I told him, I was like, I would be really interested in learning your practices. I said, I'm not going to convert on the first date, but I would be interested in learning. He's like, that's great, but I wouldn't be interested in learning yours. And
that's kind of rude.
I was like,
that's very rude. Yeah.
And then he's like, and then he brought up like church. He brought up how a Christmas tree doesn't want to be around a Christmas tree. And I was like, what? And I literally didn't know what to say, because then I didn't want to sound ignorant and rude.
Yeah, sure.
But my brain was like, I have never heard that before. And then,
well, everything that he just said was ignorant and rude. You know,
Again, I don't know. Listen, I know.
You go ahead, Alex.
No, or you go. I said you go.
Well, I just think I don't know how the story ends, but
it
maybe
keeps going.
But I really just think you need to avoid him completely. I think you need to cut him out of your
life.
So when that conversation happened, I said I need space. I took off my WhatsApp. This was a month ago, right? A month and a half ago. I took off WhatsApp, and then he contacted me through Facebook Messenger. He's like, did you block me on at WhatsApp? I tried sending you a message. I just want to know. So I set the boundary once, right? He contacted me, and then he's like, well, and then we kept talking the day. I was like, this was so weird that you did that. Like we weren't getting to know each other. It was going back and forth. I was like, it's better we don't talk. And then he's like, but then of course there was a part of me that really was like sad, because I'm like, but this was so nice. Why are you ruining it? We didn't even get to kiss each other or anything.
I know.
But wait. So I know. So then let's cut forward. So my birthday comes. He gives me his happy birthday message, sends me some messages, blah. I go to he wants to drop my birthday gift off on my birthday. He wanted to drive to New Jersey to drop off my gift and give me a hug. And I was like, no. I said, no, you can't do that. That is weird. And he respected that. Then I do my show in LA. And he has a friend in the industry that he told him about my show. And I was not I was like, yeah, whatever. The guy came to the show.
Okay.
And told me, he's like, oh, I'm so-and-so's friend. I'm like, oh.
Yeah.
Then of course, like an idiot, I was like, took a picture with him at the end of the show, and I sent it to him. And I said, thank you for having your friend come to my show. And he and I started talking. And my friend, the rabbi, was there that night in LA. He's like, just tell him how you feel, Michelle. Yeah. I was like, fine. I said, why did you make this such a big deal? We didn't even go on a real date yet. He's like, fine. Do you want to see? He's like, all right, well, I'd like to see you. I'm like, okay, fine. So when I came home that week, I had a gig near where he lives. And after it was Friday, it was Shabbat. So he can't come to the show, but he's like, afterwards, why don't you come here and I'll make you dinner? So I got all excited. I made a joke
Michelle,
about it.
Stop this. This doesn't happen a third time. That you get excited and then, I feel so, no!
So wait for it. Just wait. See, we should go on the road together. This is why you're so wait. So then no, it does. I don't see him a third time though. You'll hear it. So he makes me dinner. He gives me the gift because he never gave me the birthday gift. So he gives me the gift. He bought me the Uggs. He has bought me a shirt that says I should have married a Backstreet Boy because Backstreet Boys are my favorite band. Something cute. Okay, whatever. So he shows me pictures of a kid. I look at, you know, it's very nice. And then we do the massage.
Ah,
And the massage is like we don't have sex. We don't we go like second basis, but it is intense and it's really good. And I was like, I stepped over because it was late and I said, look, we can't go any further unless we're dating. He's like, I would never do that. And then meanwhile, I was like, your pants are off. What are you fucking doing?
yeah.
So, like he had boxers on, but like I
Yeah,
was like,
so it's like, of course you would. Yeah,
your shorts are off. What are you
Yeah.
doing?
yeah.
So then he goes, I know I have big decisions to make. So then I drive home the next day and we're talking nicely. And then, but right away when I woke up, he's like, are you okay? And I woke up at 5. I thought he would still be sleeping because I slept for 1 hour because he couldn't keep his hands off me. We're both kissing the whole time. And I was
Wow.
like, I need to drive home.
Yeah,
And-
yeah.
And like, I didn't know he'd be awake. He literally like, he slept in the other room. It was so weird.
Yeah, no, this is all very weird, but it makes perfect sense.
And so like I drive home, I get back and I'm like sleeping off. I have 2 gigs at Bananas that night. My
Yeah.
manager got me. I'm like, I gotta sleep. I have shows.
Yeah.
So then as soon as I'm home and we're texting nice things, he starts up again. And he's like, I'm still thinking, and this
Of
is not I don't know how this is
course.
gonna work.
He's
And then
very no, but you me the day as a dating coach,
Dating
I
coach.
gotta say I would have come in the first time and said, this will keep happening again and again and again and again and again and again. So you got to see that it's not going to change.
So I told him the next day, I was like, I said, I don't want to talk to you anymore. And then he said, okay. And he wrote me this long message about how he's been dedicated the last 6 weeks to trying to work through this. He hasn't been talking to anybody. And then he's like mentions that, which I thought was weird. I was like, all right. And so then he contacts me a week later because he listens to my podcast. And he sees an interview I do. And he's like, you almost outed me. Meanwhile, he's probably going to listen to this. He said an interview I did for when I was in Chicago that I said a couple of things of what he is, basically. And he's like, people
Okay, don't do that.
But like I didn't. Like I didn't.
Well,
I
at
didn't.
this point, he could be any Orthodox Jewish guy. We don't know anything about him.
I told he's like, you said you were, so he, because there was another conversation when I came back from LA and I lost my voice. He's like, I don't know how I would deal with being put out on a platform. I don't want to be put out there. And I was like, okay, well, that's understandable, but that's my job. Like, I mean, I don't know how I would feel comfortable with you. So we have another issue. So when we stopped talking, I'm like, fuck this guy. But I know that's not the whole right thing. But at the same time, I'm never trying to come from a hateful place about him. And the guy asked me, how do people you date react to putting you in the material? And I thought of him. And then I said his job, like what he does. And he's like, see, somebody could know. I said, well, first of all, most of the divorce attorneys I do know are colleagues of mine that really like the show. Number one. Number two, no one's going to know who you are. They don't know I talk to you.
Correct.
Oh, yes. You did say he was a divorce attorney, but still, there are so many divorce.
So, Todd, do you want to sum it up?
Wait, there's one more thing.
Oh, my God.
One more, I promise. So this week, when we ended it again, he contacted me, then I contacted him, and we were going back and forth. And then I was like, we keep going back and forth. Why don't we just get together and talk about this? Now, this is my fault. I know.
Now this is your fault. Yes.
Okay. So, but I was at this point just craving the emotional, intimate connection.
Of course.
And then, he had to contemplate that. And then I lost it on him on Friday because he told me, I said, well, he's talking about the two souls connecting and how he feels like in a religious aspect, we could never be on the same level, or he didn't use the word level, but I lost it at whatever word he used. I was like, that is so closed off. The fact that your rabbi wouldn't let me into your temple is isolation, and that's not inclusion. I said, I'm not about that. And then he's like, I understand, but I don't want you to get angry anymore. I said, you're right. So then when he contacted me the next day about seeing each other, he had to put it in the frame of sense of like, well, I wanted to get your thoughts before I told you how I feel. I was like, if you're still thinking about it, no. And then he's like, no, I was going to ask you to lunch on Sunday. I was like, well, then why didn't you say that?
No.
And then we went back and forth. And then finally it was like, I got heated and he's like, fine. And then I said, I'm sorry. And then I was like, okay. He's like, let's just not do this. And he's like, okay, we're not going to talk unless we're dating in the future. And then he said, but can I ask you something that can put everything on hold? And I said, yeah, what? I have an idea for next. My dad died 3 years ago next Monday, and he
Your
knew
dad.
that. Yeah, my dad.
Oh, sorry.
No, it's okay. And then so he knew that, and he said, I would like to help you honor your father's life and do something with you in honor of your father. And I said, wow, that's really sweet. And he's like, yeah. So we were talking a little bit about what, and then he's like, well, maybe we can go be by the water and go to a vegan restaurant for lunch. And I was like, oh, that's a really sweet thing. So we left it on that. That's what we're going to do on Monday. I went to bed. I woke up and I was like, what did I just do? Why did I say yes to that?
Correct. You should say no.
That night, the whole day, I felt shitty inside, right? And then on Sunday, I woke up and in my Facebook feed is him with 2 women out partying it up in New York City. And I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know who it is. It could just be like somebody tagged him in it. It's him with a selfie with 2 girls. And I was like,
so maybe that's yet another red flag.
Well, honestly, that part aside, let's forget about it.
Yeah, you just threw in another thing in
That's
there.
like another wrench. I just think you need to. It's funny how we all crave a romantic and attention, and I do, believe me, touch and love, but then we end up acting like children, and I'm just as guilty of it, or at least I can be. I think you need to make a very conscious effort to avoid him. And honestly, I think you might need a little bit of help. We all do. I'm not kidding. The next time, and I'm willing to help out if you want. The next time he reaches out to you, and he will reach out to you.
I don't know. I blocked him on Facebook.
Great, but maybe
he'll get through. Keep
he'll
going,
find another way. The next time he does that, and if it's your birthday, or he'll say, well, I was thinking about honoring your dad, and blah, 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 whatever, and it feels emotional, and you're feeling vulnerable, reach out to me, text me, and say, this just happened, he reached out to me, and I will remind you of all of how time and time again, he says something, and then he gets cold feet, and then he retreats, and
because
just
from 1,000 feet up, it's so obvious you're in it, but like from a distance, if you were to see it, you'd be like, this is the silliest thing in the world. It's like the same thing happens and you keep falling for the same thing. And it's just like at a certain point, or at the first time, maybe second time,
I know.
No, now it's like,
it's my own fault. I felt so when we were together physically, the connection was just, and he kept saying that. He's like, and I haven't felt that way in so long. And I was like, why are you allowed? I know. Well, like the thing is, when I saw that picture with the 2 women, I was like, my friend, the rabbi, said, I know one of those girls. It's the Jewish single group on Facebook.
But you shouldn't even be. That is irrelevant.
I know.
Like this is.
I feel like I'm not good enough because of that. That's why I was thinking.
Not good enough. No, it has nothing
out of that. Never speak.
And you know what you said was right. Listen, let him live his life, but his approach is not your lifestyle. He has a closed-minded approach to life, and I'm not saying that he's a bad person. It's the way he was brought up.
That's how he grew up. It's
the choices that he has made. He's not going to change. That's who he is, and he's going to continue to become anxious about this because you're not Jewish, and that's a problem. Yeah. And you're not going to change. He's not going to change. Yeah. You can't change who you are, how you were born, like, period.
That's what I agree with you. I said that, and he's like, I'm not telling you to. I said, I know it just hurts. It just hurts. It just sucks.
I'm sorry. And it does suck. I agree it sucks. There is a tragic level to this, clearly. The tragedy of love love that can't work. That's a classic tragedy. But it's true, and you gotta move on.
I just love that every time I was like, please tell me there's no more. Oh, there's more.
Yeah, I know. Well, because from the outside perspective, and listen, love is tough, and not, or I don't know if you want to call it love, but attraction, and people make silly decisions because of that. I get it. But it's just, the lesson here is don't fall for, but don't even let yourself get to a point to fall for someone who's like, I don't know, very religious in anything, because they are coming from a completely different place. You know, the only way that can work is if they completely do a 180 and like divorce themselves from that life, or the opposite, or if you decide to be like, you know what, I'm converting and becoming Orthodox.
But you know
Short
something,
Short of that, it's those kind of things don't work.
I caution you against that, because I do not think that you should think to yourself, oh, well, you know, if I convert and I become religious, then he's gonna love me and I'll be good. He has issues. He has anxieties beyond belief. I would not just run away from him. Stay away from him.
I blocked him on Facebook, and I was gonna block him on my phone. But I didn't. He doesn't know. Like, the last conversation we had was, okay, we'll see you next week. And my friend was like, so he doesn't know now that you're not. I said, I don't want to message him.
But wait, he's going to hear this. He's going to see this, right? And now he'll be angry at us.
He's not a bad person. He just has.
I don't know if he's going to see this. He might not. He might stop listening to my podcast.
Okay, but even if he does, I do respect that he, from the get-go.
Yes.
It's both of you. It's both of your faults. Not to
Thank you.
Like,
Thank you.
from the get-go. No. But two things. But from the get-go, there were signs there that he was
100%.
very uncomfortable. So to be fair, he did
vagina makes a lot of people uncomfortable.
But he also led you on, I think, too much, and he shouldn't have. If he knew that was his perspective, he shouldn't keep. And the fact that he keeps calling and keeps going back, that's not fair of him.
Well,
so it's both. Yeah.
He thinks so when I said that on Friday, I was like, stop contacting me. He's like, I've been respecting your decision. You've been contacting me. I was like, excuse me?
Yeah.
And then I had to go back to the message. I was like, yes, this week I did, but last week you did. You
That's funny.
Face.
That's funny. And then the other thing, one other thing, just you are awesome. And funny and fun and beautiful, and you don't a few times you've been like, oh, I felt bad about myself. Nothing should be you. That's
a process I have. I have an issue with it. I have a self-worth issue, which I don't know why I do that, and I know that the universe is fucking clearly, because my friend's like, you're just not ready to date. I'm like, I know. I wasn't looking for anybody. He popped into my fucking show. Legit. It was like, hey there. Yeah. And universe was like, bitch, what you gonna do? The same thing like last time? And I did.
Yeah. No, I know.
You have
and
a cool,
listen, we're all growing, and everyone.
What was that, Todd?
No, I said you have like a cool black lady persona. No?
I'm a real housewife of Atlanta sometimes. I grew up in Paterson, New Jersey, so I'm like a little inner city sometimes.
Oh, no, I like it. It's like,
Yes. Don't mess with me, boo.
Yeah. And then one other thing I wanted to mention is that you said something about the hot cocoa was spilled earlier.
Oh, yeah, on your daughter.
Your daughter. I'm very sorry.
No,
I was at my local bagel place a few years ago, and they gave hot cocoa to one of my daughters, and she drank it, and it was too hot, and she started crying, and it was a big scene. And ever since then, my nickname in the bagel store is hot cocoa. And they call me that for years. It's been 3 or 4 years, and it's like hot cocoa. And it's a nickname of mine based on a similar thing that happened, a spill or something, a hot experience with your daughter. Hot, not hot. You meaning temperature hot spilling on your daughter. Yeah.
Temperature hot spilling. Okay, wait. So we have talked about comedy, our TV shows, our the role of divorce, and you guys have played my dating coach tonight.
Yes, and also hot cocoa.
And hot cocoa.
Yes.
So can you tell everybody where to find you, what's next with Stone and Stone, and anything else you'd like to share, and where we can find you and all that stuff?
Well, I don't like to share my address with strangers, but I will say which street I'm on, just not the number. No, I'm kidding. No, so Adam, sorry. Do you want?
Yeah.
Do you
So
want
so
to
on
lay out-
Instagram at Stone and Stone, in almost everywhere it's Stone and Stone. Stone
Tomorrow
and,
night we're going to be at performing at the.
but I don't think there are people. You're not gonna. When are you gonna post this?
This will probably post next week.
Yeah. So
Oh,
we
okay.
had
So,
some fun
wait,
shows.
how about we tell people Kinahura, knock on wood. Last week we performed on Adam, what's the name of it?
Oh, at the Stand.
At Stand on Ray DeVito's show. At the
Love it.
Stand.
That's
So
awesome.
You could have seen us by chance last week, everyone.
Yes.
In which
but,
case, thank you for coming.
Yes, but no, I'm just looking. Sorry, because
Like future stuff.
but Stone and Stone, just kind of everywhere is the place to go.
Stone and Stone and
Yeah,
stoneandstone.com.
Stone and Stone.
StoneandStoneComedy.com.
Stoneandstonecomedy.com.
If you
I wanna
Google
come see
Stone
it.
and Stone comedy, our stuff will come up.
Yeah, and you can
So.
watch your TV series.
At goingbothwaysshow.com.
Exactly.
I think I might be going.
Do you think
both
this
ways
is a good
after.
exercise? Like raising
that.
this? Yeah, I feel like you're in great shape, and I feel
Because
like I could learn some things.
I date unavailable men and don't have the room for food. My girlfriend said that. She goes, "Why do you look too skinny?" I'm like, "Because I haven't had this. I have like not. I've been nauseous all day." No, I do. I run. I dance, and I used to box.
Very cool.
Wow.
But yeah, no, I think I've seen in one of your stories or whatever that you date either unavailable or the wrong men. Is that
Which
the
is
idea?
pretty much, but yeah, and I think now it's like I had this cop ex-boyfriend that I dated that my friend and I were talking about how we thought that was the worst one. I was like, wow, years ago, who would have known that he's the best one out of all of them?
Yeah, yeah.
He's like my go-to guy if I need to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But with that said,
I'm just curious. Do you? I imagine. Do you do like the apps and stuff, or are you on those?
that was the thing that attracted me to this guy. Was like he's like, I'm not on the apps anymore. I only talk to one person at a time. He told me everything I needed to hear. You know.
Yeah.
I tried going on the apps once a couple months ago, and it overwhelmed me, and I couldn't even see the people's faces because I had to pay for it, and I was like, wait, what? No, and it was overwhelming. I'm not ready.
Honestly, I agree with you. I find the dating apps overwhelming. So what I do is I do them for short periods. And then, excuse me, and then I try to meet a few people so that I get a few people's numbers so I can actually meet them in person. Like there's a fantasy element where people just go back and forth. I want to meet someone because I'm ultimately looking to meet someone for a connection, just like you are, for something enduring.
Deeper.
And so I do the apps for a brief period and then I get off them, and because they're very overwhelming for me.
They're overwhelming. There's matchmakers, there's dating coaches. I can't afford any of them.
Oh, neither can I.
It's like, what is that? I mean, I love it, but it's like,
but you know something? Do you know what I'm on? Which is I'm finding like there are a lot of quality people on. I mean, we might not be the perfect match, but what's it called? I'm on it. Hinge.
I've never been on that
one. Try Hinge. It's free. Well, no, maybe I'm paying something, but it was not a lot. And I could be. I mean, I think it was like one. It might have been one payment of like $150 for like a number of months, and so maybe. But it's good. They're decent people who seem to like want to actually have relationships.
I think that I will definitely take it into consideration. I think for a while I'm gonna, because this is gonna knock me out. This will knock me out now for a while, and then I'll just keep thinking in the back of my head that maybe one day he'll be ready for me.
No, don't think like that at all. No, he's not going to be ready for you. No, just think.
And it's not you. It's not personal.
Clear your head.
Situation.
Clear your head and think of the possibility of someone else.
Yeah, no, I know.
And by the way, he doesn't have to be Jewish. This man.
No, I was fixated on Latin guys for a while, but now I'm thinking a Latin Jewish guy who is 6'3" and loves.
Wait, how about a Latin Jewish cop?
Yes.
I love that.
Do we know anyone? Let me think. I don't know. I'll
all my Jewish guy friends too are like, I didn't know you like Jewish guys, and
yeah.
You guys are the best. Thank you so much
You are.
for tonight. Yes, and we will do more. Adam and Todd, have a great night. Guys, stay tuned for more
You
Divorce
too.
Diaries show. Okay, you guys
Learning
rock.
about